Hello, everyone. My name is Priyanka Sarkar, and this is my project on human factors in AI. I have been tasked with creating a solution for new customers like small merchants that want to use a new acceptance method for a payment technology provider product, get onboarded really quickly, seamlessly, with minimal manual effort while feeling a sense of empowerment. The multiple steps that they need to go through, maintaining data, verifying against various sources, keeping abidance to multiple laws and regulations of countries internationally and locally, all of that needs to be kept in mind. I begin with task analysis. What is my product? Who are my customers? What are the unmet needs? And following design principles of defining the problem statement while keeping empathy high on mind. So, the insights I consider are: what is the manual effort required? What kind of regulations am I needing? Um, Fintech, right? You must adopt appropriate controls to meet the ever changing regulatory request and guaranteeing also the spotless reputation. Data management: what kind of data is being collected, personal data, confidential data, and how are we keeping a fine balance between requiring too much data and not collecting enough to stay compliant. Personalization is extremely important because you cannot just create a technical system where the customers don't feel a connect with. We identified all of the touch points, all of the pain points, and unmet needs, rolled them into four bigger blocks of enrollment, automation, testing, and others. I followed very strongly the flow in the empathy interviews. Right then, we went on to UX design. UX design was primarily based on the six principles that Don Norman put together for interaction design: visibility, feedback, constraint, mapping, consistency, and affordance. I kept specifically AI specific considerations in mind, taking the user inputs really seriously, as you see here, breaking them down to demonstrate transparency, communicating uncertainty to customers, creating those feedback loops where the implicit and explicit feedback is collected appropriately. You may ask why AI is such a great tool for onboarding customers for a variety of use cases. I would tell you that building AI into the product to allow customers to interact by giving them prompts, instructions in natural language, and then watching how AI solves a problem to complete the task. It's a fantastic method because it not only gives a non natural language input to customers, but it also teaches customers to use more and more questions in the right pattern for it to solve the problem easily. What I finally came up with a parallel flow that has human elements as well as artificial intelligence data to actually guide and direct the customers towards a seamless onboarding experience. I've considered privacy very strongly. What kind of technologies are we using? What kind of model are we using? What are the regulations? Example, this is going into European regulation systems, right? Because it is going to be operating there. Therefore, GDPR needs to be followed. The usual fintech privacy laws absolutely have to be followed. AML, OFAC checks have to be followed in KYC. How are we looking at localization needs and localization data requirements? How are we managing the data? What is the fine, fragile balance that we're maintaining between collecting the right amount of data, as well as keeping competition in mind and personalizing the experience for customers? A lot of data considerations were kept in mind, as you see here right on my right. The rights of the customers have been kept in mind extremely strongly because if you want ethical practices, you have to keep their privacy in mind. It's important to note if we're being fair, if we're being accountable, are we biased, are there ethical risks? Now, ethic is a very important piece, and three criteria of an ethical system, AI system, are fair, accountable, transparency. Users have visibility to data usage. There must be simplified approximation, counterfactual explanation for each system of onboarding, clear definition of feature importance, but most importantly, having an interpretable model that will enable any business perform its best to leverage AI in the entire customer onboarding process. My final output is a AI-based as well as human element focused onboarding portal, which, as you see, the six blocks have actually been highlighted as the areas that can be improved through automation. But I would also consider digital decisioning enhanced with AI recommendations as a human touch, workflow orchestration removing some of the manual steps, but keeping in mind personalization for the customers, reducing entire operational cost, time, while tailoring the customer experience so they feel a sense of connect right at the start of onboarding. Thank you very much for listening in.